Hi everyone, in this lecture I would like to talk about NodeLists, and for this one what we have is we have a little bit of HTML. We have 5 LIs, item 1 all the way to item 5, and we do have our UL in here as well. Now I can just add the title, working with NodeLists. Now what I would like to do is I would like to grab all the LIs and put them in our JavaScript. So I'm going to say const items. I could just set them as items, document dot query selector. Since there is more than one LI and I would like to grab all the LIs, I'm going to use query selector all, and I'm going to pass in LI. So now this is going to grab everything for us. Let's console log what this actually is. Console.log items, and when I save it, we can see that as soon as we save that, we get a node list. And now you know what a node list is. It is a list of HTML elements. And this node list looks like an array, but in fact, this is not an array. It's somewhat like that arguments object that we talked about. So what I'm going to show you is a little bit of a more realistic approach, real-world approach to iterating through something that is not actually an array. That may look like an array, but it is not an array. And we can take a look at all the functions that are available. So on this node list, we can use entries. We can use the for each method, the items, keys, and values, and whatever. So we can use all of them on this node list. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to use the map function, all right? And I want to iterate through it using the map function. So I'm going to say const items list is going to be equal to, this is going to be our function, items dot map, cool. And each time we are iterating through this items list, we are actually selecting an individual item. Let's put in the fed arrow, and I'm going to grab this as item. Let's save that. And it says item.map is not a function. Now, even though item.map is a function, the reason that it is not working is because it looks like an array, but it is not an array. That's why the map function does not work on it. Now, this is actually a node list, and node lists are either, you could call them HTML elements, a collection of HTML elements, or they're also called like a DOM collection. Now, how can we convert a DOM collection into an array? This is where the array.from method comes into the picture. Now, we had an object in JavaScript where we talked about it in our previous lecture. That was the capital O object. And this array.from, this array is actually the capital A array. So console.log array, this is the array that I'm talking about. And if I hover on it, you can see it's the array constructor. This is the array that is responsible for all of the arrays that we have in our JavaScript. And when I save it, you can see this is actually going to give us this function. Now on this, we have an array.from method. And this is going to grab an iterable object to convert into an array. Keep in mind, it is not selecting an object. It is selecting an iterable object. So NodeList is an iterable object. It's not an array. And it converts it into an array. Now I'm going to pass in here items, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to take a look at it, and there we go. What is the prototype now? The prototype is array. Now we can actually iterate through this array. Now, let's save it first within a variable so we can use it. So we say const items list, and I'm going to copy this one, assign it to this. This is one way of going about it, but another way would be like this. So you would grab that entire thing, and you're going to put it in array.from, array.from. And immediately when it is returned from the HTML, it's going to be converted into array on the fly. So now this is actually an array. There we go. And now if I take a look at the items right there, you can see it is giving us an array. And now we can take a look at, we can iterate through that using a map function, using a for of whatever we want. So I'm going to say const to do items items list. We can just simply select our items dot map, and we are going to grab every individual item. Console.log item, and when I save it, map to do items. What is wrong here? Console log. Oh, this arrow is missing. There we go. So we got li, but it is giving us the li. How can I get the actual text content within the li? We are going to say text content dot text content. There we go. So we got item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, and item 5. This is how you can work with node lists or DOM collections that are not actually arrays, but you can convert them into arrays and you can iterate through them to change maybe their values, to grab their values dynamically, to do whatever you want.